Oregon Housing and Community Services is looking for public input on proposed changes to its Disaster Recovery Action Plan. NBC5's Lauren Preto has more on how the proposed amendment could impact help to fire survivors.
In 2021, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, announced $422 million would be granted to Oregon for recovery efforts in response to the 2020 Labor Day fires. A little under a year later, HUD approved of the Oregon Housing and Community Services Action Plan, referred to as RE-Oregon. The action plan describes how the state will spend federal funding to support victims of wildfires by rebuilding and creating new permanent housing in the areas most impacted by the fires.
We've implemented and started a couple programs, one being the PEER program, the Planning, Infrastructure, and Economic Revitalization, and the other one is HARP, that's designed for homeowners at the time of the fire. So we have folks currently moving through the HARP application, and a few folks are getting really close to receiving their preliminary awards.
On October 9th, OHCS announced a draft action plan amendment to its disaster recovery program. The amendment proposes to reallocate resources to increase support for renters. It also proposes to offer expanded recovery options for applicants to the Homeowner Assistance and Reconstruction Program, referred to as HARP.
We're going to add a reimbursement pathway to the HARP program. We've increased the award amounts that folks would be eligible for, and we've also made some changes to what was called the HOP program that will lead to the development of affordable rental opportunities and also affordable homeownership opportunities.
Officials say they want to hear feedback on their proposed plans and get key insight from fire survivors themselves. OHCS is hosting public hearings as well as accepting comments on the draft until November 8th. Some at Wednesday's hearing at Phoenix First Presbyterian Church say getting help soon isn't a want, it's a need.
I'm tired of hearing no, waiting list. Sorry, the funds are gone. No, waiting list. Oh, no, funds are gone.
We've just moved from one housing to another.
It has now been over 4 years since September 8th, 2020. We need to come home now.
Karen Wheeler-Clay, Executive Director of the Jackson County Community Long-Term Recovery Group, says those who spoke at the hearing weren't in the minority.
The fear is always that this will take even longer to get dollars out the door and people in homes. So whatever we can do, both at the local and state level, to celebrate those successes, show traction, show forward momentum is going to be really critical.
After receiving feedback, OHCS will review and make revisions before submitting the plan to HUD for approval.
We know that there are still lots of families and households to recover. And so the hope with this action plan amendment is that it will support the expediting of those programs.
In Phoenix, Lauren Preto, NBC5 News.
Further details on the draft action plan amendments can be found at re.oregon.gov.